Come on, YouTube, give me a thumbnail. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So several months ago, I gave you a first look and kind of a hands-on with the Blade Z Max. Well, I've actually been using this phone for a long time, taking it on plenty of trips, and I was trying to tell you how I actually feel about it. So shout out again, once again, to Zizo Wireless and ZTE for hooking up some nice cases. There's a giveaway going on for some of those, so be sure to check that out. But how is this phone really for daily use? Like, who's gonna love this phone in real world testing? So let's get the obvious out of the way. It's not a spec giant. And what I mean by that is it's no Snapdragon 835. It's not even a Snapdragon 625. For those things that people that think that's really important. And only the tech communities think that's important. But what can it do? Well, here's some positives. It's got a dual camera setup on the back. While the camera setup, while the phone has these dual cameras, the software for the cameras, I'm totally not a fan of. It's very slow, very laggy at times when taking photos, and just the overall clunkiness of that camera software. Now that doesn't mean that the cameras are bad, because I've done a camera review of this phone already, and the cameras are fantastic for what this phone costs. I mean, you think about a $100 phone, this is actually pretty good. All right, here's a video sample from the Blade Z Max. Finally, they came and did my grass. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful my hedges are now. It's beautiful. Finally, it's been so long since they did my lawn and stuff. But here it is, man. This is the Blade Z Max rear camera. This phone records in 1080p. It's absolutely stunning. For what it is, man. When I say that, people say, "Oh, how do you say it's stunning? It's a cheap $100 phone." You a sucker if you don't want to save money, man. Come on. This is definitely doable, man. You don't have to have a $1,000 phone in your pocket that you're afraid to drop. If I drop this phone, I can easily go buy another one. No insurance needed. No insurance needed. That's what you need to be thinking about. So it's October 24th. I'm recording this as a part of my full review for this phone. You can get a sense of the audio, the quality, everything. Let's try to zoom on this guy over here working out. If I can do it. There we go. Yeah, grainy as I suspected. But remember, 99 bucks. Good. So while the camera software I'm not a fan of, the camera footage and photos that you can get from this phone are actually really solid. I mean, they're very impressive. And also, when you're considering to say that this is a bad phone, you got to think about the price. Now, this phone actually offers something that a lot of other phones don't offer, which is a 6-inch display at a low price point. And it's also a 1080p display, which is actually pretty good. I am rocking the Zizo Wireless tempered glass combo here with the Bolt series case. So if you see a little bit of reflection, that's why. But overall, this screen is actually beautiful. I mean, I've liked the Z. When I first fell in love with the Z Max Pro, I was thinking it can't get any better than this. It can't get any better than this. Not for $100. Well, let me pop off this case here and show you what I mean. This phone has a beautiful design. You don't even need a case. I mean, but the fact that if you want to get some longevity out of your phone, because most people who are buying phones at this price range, they're not wanting to buy a phone every 3 months. So this phone right here, while you don't need a case, it's definitely doable with a case. And that case may seem like it will make the phone big, but the phone is already a pretty big phone. But anyway, the back cover on here, you don't really need a case. And this is a pretty thin phone. The design has been updated from the original Z Max. And it's actually a really stunning design. You got to see this one in person. Video probably doesn't do it justice. But it's a good design. It's got a lot of grip on the back. And if you didn't want to carry a case, you'd be fine with that. However, the person buying this phone is not buying a phone every 2 months to 3 months like most techies, or every week for a lot of techies. The person buying this phone wants a big screen, a beautiful display, a big battery. I mean, you think about about a 4,000 milliamp hour battery here, like 3990 or something like that, or 4080 or something like that. Point being, it's got a huge battery and it's still in a pretty thin frame. And you get, again, decent cameras on the front and rear, doable for nearly everybody in the world. And the fact that it has Type-C and Dolby Audio and a headphone jack, There are phones out there that are not doing that. And that's something that we should consider when you think about $100 phone. If I could think of some drawbacks with this phone, I would definitely say the main drawback is that it's only on select carriers, which is, it hasn't hit T-Mobile yet, but it's probably going to get to T-Mobile, and it's on Metro. And that's got to be the biggest drawback. So if you can find this phone unlocked, you have a jewel. You have a real jewel, because people want this phone everywhere. Now, there's a phone that just released on Cricket that looks exactly like this. It looks like its little brother. It's actually a 5.5-inch display, and maybe you'll see some footage on that soon as well. But this phone right here, if like I said, if any major drawback I could think of is that it's locked to Metro, and a lot of people want phones like this. It's no longer, we're in an era where people want really compact phones. People want to enjoy media content. They want to look at their grandkids. They want to look at movies while they're waiting in the subway. They want to just enjoy great content on phones at a very low price point. And it's really not getting any lower than this. $99, big battery, 1080p display, very good cameras, doable cameras for sure, clunky camera software, and the speaker is loud. It's just on the back. That's a huge drawback for a lot of people, but I've been using it honestly in this case since I got it. And since this case has a kickstand, when you're watching videos, it kind of just bounces off of whatever surface that you're looking at, and so, or you have it sit on. So it's pretty decent. I mean, the Dolby Audio, most of ZTE devices have Dolby Audio now, and that's a huge plus because a phone like this needs it with the speakers placed on the back right there. That's another drawback. I mean, but as I check the boxes, this is a really good purchase, man. If you can grab this phone on Metro for $99 or do a port in and get it for free, get it, man. I think this is probably one of the top phones on Metro. And I'm not just saying that. This is actually a really good phone. If you want a phone that you can take for the entire weekend pretty much, and you're not really a heavy user, like for a lot of media content, but you do a lot of phone calls, texting, emails, bumper cam, you definitely will be able to use this phone for an entire weekend. It's definitely possible. And the reason I say that is because I'm the average consumer, but I'm the tech average consumer. So I hit them hard and I use it full-fledged, and I end up burning through it within a day and a half, 2 days. But you won't do that more than likely. If you're just the average consumer with non-tech enthusiasts in you at all, you can make it several days, possibly even a week with this phone. The battery life is super strong. And shout out to Grant S. He's a guy, like, when we do battery comparisons, I always end up getting about 2 hours more than him. With this phone, I think he grabbed over 6 hours of screen on time, pretty much grabbing that on every charge. So you know, if he's getting that, I'm getting well into the 8s. and I could definitely pull down well over 7 hours of screen on time with this phone. So the average consumer is who I'm talking to right now. I'm not talking so much to tech enthusiasts. The average consumers who are on Metro, who want one of the best phones that they have to offer, it is the Blade Z Max, and that's just how I feel about it. I've been using this phone for a long time. I mean, a very long time, and it's definitely doable. I'm being completely honest about the cameras. I just showed the footage. I'll try to leave my personal opinion out on the first go around, but here we are months later, and I gotta tell you, these cameras are really acceptable. Remember the price, $99. So these cameras are totally doable and they're totally acceptable. Fingerprint reader, great build quality, really decent speakers on the back, Dolby Audio, 1080p 6-inch display. I mean, you know, there's a lot to love. Huge battery, performance. If I didn't talk about performance, I guess I don't talk about performance much, because the average consumer, the way they relate performance, they just want to make sure it doesn't crash on them or stop working, is a terminology that they would use. And I haven't had any problems with this phone, man. The software on here is pretty much a stock experience, and that's a huge plus for ZTE. If ZTE could figure out a way to upgrade that camera software, these cameras probably would shine a little bit more. And again, I'm not harping on that. I'm just giving it to you the way I feel about it. So let me check the boxes here. The camera software, I don't like it pretty much. It's too clunky. I mean, I can work with it, but I don't like when I buy a phone that I have to install something else to make it work the way I want it to work. I want to just use it right out of the box. And while the camera software is clunky, I'm using it. I haven't installed anything else. Because maybe a software update can completely change the UI. They need a new UI and a camera setup for their phones. Because pretty much this software is on all of their phones. Now, the next thing is that it's locked to Metro. So if you're not on Metro, you have to scour the internet and try to find someone who has one of these unlocked. And you know what? I got one. Where's it at? Also, mine is unlocked. No, mine is unlocked. People were asking about that. It's on Cricket. How'd you get it on Cricket? It's unlocked. Please don't ask me how I unlocked this. Do your research. You'll find out how to get it unlocked. Now, Metro, clunky software on the camera, and a kind of a rear-mounted speaker. Other than that, the only drawback that I think is now becoming a pro, thanks to Samsung, is how big the footprint of this phone is. I mean, look at this. This phone is huge. What do I have next to me here? Oh, I'll grab the Note 8. Look at how big this phone is. I mean, the Note 8 is a huge phone, but look at this. They're both in cases, I know. But still, look at this. This is a big phone. But it's not so big that you'll be disappointed. Once you go big, you'll go home. You gotta go big or go home. You'll fall in love with a big phone. Ladies, I know you like them big now. Ladies like them big now because they carry purses. The days of a woman carrying a small phone. You know how many women I see walking around with a big phone? They love it. I see a lot of females carrying the Z Max Pro, the first edition. Oh man, I'm somewhere like if I were to go when I go in the Metro store to buy phones, I see women in the store, like the workers, carrying a Z Max Pro, the first edition. That's what I've predominantly used. I saw them do because even the workers there, they don't want to buy a new phone every 2 months. If their phone's working, they roll with it. And let me answer a question for you. Some people are going to ask, if I have the Z Max Pro, should I upgrade to this? The short answer is, if you don't need to upgrade, save your money, man. Wait until your phone actually conks out on you. Don't get enticed into buying all the latest technology because we say it's good or we say it's bad or whatever we say. Take our word, take my word for face value. Try things for yourself. But I'm going to always tell you, obviously, if you're buying phones that are in this price range, that's what you're comfortable with or that's what you prefer or whatever your reasoning is. Never upgrade your phone unless you have to. Don't do it. Don't spend money that you don't need to spend. Now, if your Z Max Pro has a cracked screen or it's 2 years old or a year old or whatever, and it's banged up or something's wrong with it physically or, if there's something's wrong with it, then yes, get this phone. Get this phone right here. And if you're on Cricket, get the smaller version of this phone. It's called the Blade X. It's not called the Blade X Max. I think it might be called the Blade X. I have to look at that. But it costs $120, I think it is right now. It's just released. Today is October 24th. Yeah, today's October 24th. And that phone released like a couple days ago. It looks exactly like this if you're a Cricket customer. It's just got a smaller screen. But if you want a big screen, get the Blade X Max. And I got it back there somewhere. But unfortunately, these phones are locked to these carriers, so you've got to go out of your way to get them unlocked. Now, Cricket phones are actually a little bit easier to get unlocked than Metro. Metro, you have to wait 3 months, and they'll unlock it for free, or you can pay for services on any of these. Cricket, you just get on the unlimited plan with Cricket, tell them you're on the unlimited plan, they'll unlock your phone right away. ZTE has done right by us as a community. Like me as a consumer, I feel like ZTE is answering questions, and they're answering the basic questions. They're not so much trying to compete. Well, at least this is the way it appears to me. They're not trying to compete with the Note 8, the whatever these phones are that cost $10,000. They're not trying to do that. They're gaining ground. Basically, the rule is you don't know how you're going to do, so flood the market. Because I see a lot of people saying ZTE is bringing out the same phone. ZTE is bringing out the same phone. ZTE is pumping out and selling a lot of these phones. And I can't be mad at them. There are people buying these phones. There's more people buying the phones that are $50 to $100 than there are people spending money from $500 to $900. If you don't believe me, do your research. These types of phones are winning. You know, think about that. You can walk into Walmart or Target or whatever and pick up a phone like for 50 or 100 bucks. And it's a good phone now. Like affordable phones have gotten really good. I never did you think you would see the day when you can get a $99 phone like this. Hey, I'm just telling you from real world testing. If you think it's like an advertisement for ZTE, well, when I do ZTE videos, I try to wear my ZTE shirt. But that's your opinion. I'm just giving it to you like this is my review of the phone. The phone is actually pretty good. I would definitely recommend it. I really wish it would come to T-Mobile so T-Mobile customers can grab this. And I wish they had like an unlocked version on their website. Think about if they sold this phone unlocked for 150 bucks. ZTE, listen, you can do this. Sell this phone for 150 bucks unlocked. You will sell a boatload of them. The floodgates will be open. You'll have to keep up with demand. It'll be like Apple. It'll be like Samsung. You have to keep up with demand. These phones are totally worth $150 cash unlocked. They're worth $99 on the carriers. So, full review, the phone is good. I give it about an 8.5 for those reasons I named. It's time for a software update on the camera software. It's time to get a bottom firing speaker or some front facing speakers, and don't lock it to carriers if you don't have to. I know there's negotiations that are done with carriers. I understand the backside of it, but if you can convince whoever the powers that be to sell this unlocked for 150, not this particular phone, but your next phone of this iteration, bring an unlocked version. You've got a win on your hands. It's your man Jay Will. I hope you enjoyed. Full review for the Blade Z Max. It's been a while since I've been using this, and you can see I have so many phones I got to keep up, but this phone has always been in rotation. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me see if I can catch that thumbnail. Come on, YouTube, give me a thumbnail. If you see that as a thumbnail, you know it worked. Hopefully that worked. All right, man, I'm out.